Sippers, welcome to this episode of the Tea With Me podcast with me, your big mate Shane Todd. Yes, I'm sitting in a room with all the curtains and blinds closed because my baby's here too. And by my baby, I don't mean producer Dan, I mean my actual baby son. Now, here's the thing. It's warm outside, there's a heat wave. I'm annoyed that my son is warm and I've got to keep all the blinds and windows closed. And I'm annoyed that I can't go out and bronze in this. So it's an angry start to the episode, but it's a guest episode today. I've got my friend Aaron McCann, fellow stand-up comedian, straight out of Oma, on the pod, and we're chatting stand-up, chatting everything in between. But before we start, let me just plug the Patreon, which is patreon.com/teawithmepodcast. And you can get the bonus episode I do every Monday, me and Britney Spears' dad, aka producer Dan. And my stand-up special from the Waterfront Hall is there as well in its entirety. And we do merch giveaways and we do live episodes, and you can only get it on Patreon. Patreon.com/teawithmepodcast. One of my teeth is being really shiny here. On the video, I don't know, I'm losing. I'm not wearing hair product either. Hey, it's a good time. My wife's getting her hair cut and I'm on daddy duty, and what that means is you do a podcast. That's what that means. So it's a good time. Aaron McCann's on. This is the Friday episode. We are back. Let me also plug, we're back on Radio Ulster tonight. Me and Dave Elliott, the Shane Todd Show, 6 p.m, BBC Radio Ulster, playing a load of rave music, dance music. It's just a nice time. So sippers, make your way over there. Also, we got merch, which is on the Shopify. So it's Shane Todd Comedy on Shopify, which is Shopify, Shopify. You can get the Sipper t-shirt, the Money Toad t-shirt, the mugs. I have a mug in my hand that I'm trying to turn around. I'm making a really, really bad job of it. And my mug says, shh, there's Prosecco in here. And there isn't. There's tea. It's nice. So it's a great day outside. I can't go outside. I got a baby. Great to have a baby. But also great to have a tan. And I can't really have that at the minute, although I have a decent baseline for the tan. So I can't be too annoyed. I've got Aaron on today. Then we're doing listeners' questions. Strap in. My baby needs me to come and speak to him, and that's what I'm going to do. Keep sipping, keep living the dream.
Hello?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Right. Couple things to get into straight away. The water's way too big. One of which is this, right? I've got a big, big dilemma that might fuck this podcast. I need your advice on this. Tell me what you would do if you were in my shoes.
Okay.
So my laptop is currently on 15% battery.
Okay.
And I hastily got ready to record. So my Mac charger, is the metallic type charger.
Mm-hmm.
It was plugged in at the wall. Mm-hmm. I moved loads of stuff to drag the laptop over. Very long story short, pulled my laptop charger out. It went straight into my mug of tea while it's connected.
Oh, shit.
Now, the light and stuff's still on, but do you think that if I plug that into my laptop, there's going to be a Chernobyl?
I think you'll be all right. Like, I don't think it'll be a Beirut situation. I think you should be good.
But then again, I'm sort of thinking you and I might not be the guys that would know, like, that side of technology. Like let's think about what we're talking about. Live electrics, I've just dipped it into a liquid, and you and me are both like, probably all right.
Well, you could just say, listen, try to record an episode of the podcast of Aaron McCann, and literally my laptop exploded because we were talking how much hate.
Good hit. Oh, I mean, it's going to explode either way. What the other thing I've got to get into is your email address is very, very traditional, very straightforward. And it didn't used to be. And you called me out on a personal level because I'm a 32-year-old father and my email address has a reference to wrestling in it. But I think that people would not expect that of me. So I think people would just think it was coincidence. But wrestling fans like yourself will understand the reference. But did I ever tell you I've had 2 email addresses in my life. Did I ever tell you what my first email address was?
I'm so excited to hear this. Go ahead.
You know who Rio Ferdinand is, yeah?
Yeah.
My first ever Hotmail address was Rio_Ferdinand_rules with a Z at hotmail.com. And I was adding everyone's sister, mom, and girlfriend in MSN Messenger. When you saw Rio Ferdinand rules pop up, you knew you were getting chat. And I think if I ever, for some reason, met Rio Ferdinand at like some sort of corporate stand-up event or some sort of TV thing and told him that story, he'd be like, "That's really fucking weird." I
You
think
have to tell him.
the Z makes it weird. Did you have any other weird email addresses before your last one?
So I had my first, like, this is the Bebo email address. Like, when you make the address just so you can get Bebo, you don't even have any intentions of using MSN at the stage.
Yeah.
It's the thing that comes later as you mature.
Yeah.
I went for, I was like, right, make an email address, and then they have the @.co.uk, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go McCann, surname, safe, man,
Yeah.
RVD,
Yep. Rob Van Dam.
35.
No, yeah, but you had that was yours up until what, last year? No, it really was. I have that email address for you. That's why I asked you for your email address. I think, I mean, I'm keeping mine as is because not that many people are going to get it, and I think the people that do will like it. You know, like if it's someone from a professional type thing, to be more inclined to work with you or whatever. If they're like, "Oh, I used to like Rey Mysterio back in the day." This first time we've seen each other in a long time, even virtually. I got to ask you my first question. I ask everyone who comes on the podcast. Do you drink tea? Now, I don't know if I know this about you because we've known each other for what, 7 years? 8 years?
Yeah.
And you're a guy who will always go to the novelty beverage before, like, you're not a traditional beverage guy. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
Like, you've been called worse than a non-traditional beverage guy. Like, if it's like the mad version of something, like milkshake type fucking blended thing, that's what you're going to have. Does Aaron McCann drink tea? I don't know the answer to this question.
What would you think?
I think in the right setting, definitely. I think if someone's died, you will have a cup of tea.
You know what? You got it square on there. The right setting being my house. I don't like outside tea.
Now, is this because you think the tea tastes better in your house?
Yes.
Or you're just comfortable enough? Well, let me ask you this then. What tea bags do you use?
Poonjana. Ride or die. Ride or die.
It's not.
Poonjana.
Poonjana's why you signed up to Bebo in the first place.
That was my other hotmail address too. The Punjabi Prince at hotmail.co.uk.
Oh man, this room's too warm. We should open a window, but I enjoyed that a lot. Poonjana bag dipper at lactose.net. Hey, do you ever remember Lycos used to let you send one free text message, but you had to keep re-signing up for it every time? You don't know how much of my life I wasted signing up for that.
This is the ultimate throwback episode.
Fucking Lycos. I mean...
Can you hear me, by the way? Because I feel like I have this mic plugged in, but usually you have to do a thing before it works. So I feel like I'm maybe just chatting to you through these headphones.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Sounds
good. Yeah, I mean, very, very enjoyable. So you will, I mean, no one will know. I didn't know that about you, and you're my friend. Strangers won't know that about you. Listeners will not know that the right setting you will drink a cup of tea. Will you just go for any cup, or because this has kind of got weird, that the idea that you need to be in a certain setting to have a cup of tea. Also, I was always a Tetley guy, and then I discovered Barry's green label.
Okay, yeah. The green label meaning?
Right. Barry's is an Irish tea that comes in a red box, right? Like a red box, like Poonjana, or like Poonjana, or PG tips, and or obviously Titley, and
oh, fucking hell.
I'm trying to think of more. I can't think of any more. Someone in the comment section definitely will. But yeah, so Barry's, one of the listeners was like, you got to try Barry's. I went Asda, not just for that reason. I saw Barry's, I got them, I liked it, but I got Yorkshire tea as well. I like that. Then someone else was like, "What you need is the green Barry's tea, not green tea. Just it's called Gold, Barry's Gold." Jesus
Okay.
Christ, Jesus Christ.
Was it like luxury? Like, why is it gold?
It's something you would give an ambassador.
This is like black level tea stuff. I feel this is where you're like in the BDSM of tea, essentially. Yeah. Like you're bored of the kind of normal, kind of standard tea, and now you gotta, to get a same level of dopamine, you gotta go a wee bit riskier.
Yeah, sometimes, I'll be honest, I have that many different teas in my tea cupboard that I put my hand in. I don't know what I'm bringing out.
That's exciting. That's living life on the edge.
Yeah. I mean, I like the visuals of you drinking tea, because you seem very guarded about it, or you need to be in the right setting. So I think it's something I think you would feel very vulnerable if people saw you drink tea.
It is a personal thing, I think. Like, do you have I was talking to a friend about this the other day, where he was saying he doesn't have cereal in anywhere but his house because the experience is too intimate.
I wouldn't like anyone to see me eat cereal, because when you will get like a little bit of milk here, so you do like quite a bit of a Hannibal Lecter. I don't like people to see me do that. I don't really eat cereal either, but do you mean, do I have a thing that I don't like? I don't like anyone to see me do.
Yeah. Well, eat, do lads,
Coke. What about the guy who just does coke in his house by himself?
Yeah.
Just gets the setting right, candles. I don't know. I don't like to watch Match of the Day with anybody else talking to me.
Okay.
What about someone sticks it on, and I'm like that when I like films. You put on a film and someone starts, you hit play, you're 5 minutes into a film and someone's like, what are you at tomorrow? And you're like, no, what are you doing? Watch a film.
Yeah, no, I don't like that either. I don't like watching films that I had planned to watch if I'm in a group of friends because of that reason.
Yeah, because you miss one crucial bit, and then you're like, oh, for fuck's sake, like Sixth Sense. You miss the part where Bruce Willis is dead, and it's just an underwhelming film. What's your situation with stand-up? Have you done? You were at a gig that I was at, and that's the first time visually I've seen you in a long time. Mm-hmm. It was a great moment.
I enjoyed it.
Have you done any gigs back? You done any socially distanced stand-up?
First will be this weekend. I'm doing the same gig that you did last week, Vittorio Angeloni's garden gig.
That'll be great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, because I went there because I'm sure you were thinking the same yourself. It's like, if someone pitches to you like a garden gig at the start of lockdown, you might have been like, nah, there's no fucking hope to that.
No.
But then you're 5 months deep and you're like, do you know what? I would just love to do anything that resembles a stand-up gig.
Anything.
And then I went down, and his is great.
See to be, I was like, he probably has the best. And Vittorio's a guy who lives in London from here. Well, not probably originally not the family. You got to think, call Vittorio Angeloni. You got to understand he's probably from, I don't know, Limerick. And when he was like, oh, I'm doing this gig in my back garden, and it's all socially distanced, I was like, you probably have the best intentions for doing that, but actually executing that is going to be really, really difficult in your own garden. You don't have staff or anything like that. I reckon, from seeing pictures of socially distanced bar gigs and stuff that have been put back all over the country, I actually think his is probably the most responsibly ran.
Absolutely.
Because everybody, even though it was because when you and I know, when you hear bring your own booze, you're like, oh, for fuck's sake, it's going to be rowdy and stuff. But everybody just wanted it to be a really nice night, and it was well set up. He had a PA. It didn't feel just like a DIY kind of thrown together gig.
Yeah,
it felt great, and I was pretty skeptical of it as well. Are you going to do so? Any stand up I've spoken to about gigs come back, some people are like, I'm just going to do tried and tested stuff because I just want to get back to being on stage. And then half the people speak to are like, oh, I just can't wait to try new stuff. What do you know
what's hilarious is I wrote nothing until literally last week. And then last week, since then, I've been writing every day. But for the whole, literally the whole, some people are like, I haven't really wrote anything. But, they take the odd bit down. I literally didn't even take out my phone, take notes.
intentionally, you're like, oh, I just want to break from this, or you just didn't feel inspired to write anything?
I think I did one time. Like I sat down to do it, and then I was like, "Well, what am I writing this for? Like, will this be
Yeah,
relevant at all by the time I come around to doing stand up again?" It's just such a weird kind of thing. And then I was like, "When else will you get the chance to like not think about it for a while?" So I was like,
yeah, yeah.
I'll just take advantage of it."
I mean, it was weird because I put so much pressure on myself that day. I was like very, very, very nervous. I don't get nervous the day of a show. I do get nervous when I get to a venue or whatever, or backstage, but on the day I'm fine. I woke up that day like proper nervous, like really,
Yeah.
really nervous. Drove there nervous backstage. Was even like a bit jittery. William Thompson had chewing gum. I hadn't seen chewing gum in 5 months. I was like, I don't even like chewing gum. I was like, can I have a bit? And he no. If you were going to give me chewing gum, if you had a packet of chewing gum, how would you give me it? If I asked you
Uh,
for a bit?
I would say it's probably located in my right pocket. Take it out, and then like give it to you to take, and then take your own bit.
Oh, right, okay. I say I wouldn't, and that's what he did. He threw it to me, and I dodged it. And let it fall on the ground, and I went, I can't touch it because you've touched it. Now, I think he thought maybe because he's disabled, it was something like I was saying, like you're disabled, so I can't, like him having that, like I didn't like it, but I had to
Yeah.
say, like, no, because if I'm giving someone chewing gum, I'm going to work it out of the packet into your hand
Yes. Yes.
because it limits the amount of bit, then I know you're only taking one bit.
Yeah. No, I like to give free rein. I'm like, let's see what you're about here.
So how would you react if I took 3 bits of chewing gum from your packet?
I wouldn't say anything at the time.
Yeah,
I would let it. I
live
would
it.
let it like. I would let it rest and ferment. But in the
Yeah.
back of my head, I'd be like, Shane's a greedy cunt.
Yeah, three's far too much. I mean, it's like someone who like, oh, you have a chip, and someone's like, can I have it? And they take a handful.
Yeah, you're like storing that or something. There's no need for you to take
Yeah,
3 bits of chewing gum ever.
no, disrespectful. What do you? So you had to, like me, you had to cancel your Belfast show, and I don't know if you're going to tour around that, but have you put that all back to next year?
June next year. I remember even whenever it was getting rescheduled first time round, I was like, ugh, I can't see it being this year. And then 2 weeks later, they were like, yeah, I think you're right. We're going to do it June next year.
I was the same, unlike the eternal optimist, Mickey Bartlett, who
Right up to that. Mikey was going to be like, you see that guy that did the country concert, Chase Rice or something? Mickey was about to do like a full-blown pandemic denier gig, which he's probably the only comedian that would have sold regardless because most of his audience is conspiracy theorists anyway.
yeah, I mean, I was messaging him being like, do you know something I don't? Like, if you... Who are you tight with in the World Health Organization? Because he was like, listen, don't worry, it's 3 days away. And I was like, I don't know if this is going to happen. And then at the last minute, he's like, gonna have to set this back. It's like, yeah, global pandemic,
Now, to be fair, part of me was going, I really hope that he does prove everyone wrong and it ends up happening like at the last minute, because can you imagine being like one of the first gigs back for people in general? It'd be so buzzing, and it's at your gig.
Well, that's I think what's so good about I'm going for it for this charger, by the way.
Okay.
Shit.
It's okay.
Yep. Oh, we're all good.
Yeah, you're good.
That's what I think is good about the likes of these garden gigs, because people are just like buzzing that you're doing it. Yeah. And the reason I was nervous when I got there as well is there's an awkward thing with the audience. For the first time ever that I've been to stand up, the audience felt nervous as well. Everybody was a bit like out of their comfort zone. And then once the night started, it was like, oh, this is fucking lovely. It just reminds everyone of why they like going out to live stuff.
Well, it's nice to know too that like all the shows are selling pretty much instantly. So it shows too that people are still very much interested in seeing stand-up, even in these weird times.
Yeah, I think that's the thing you want to see, not being biased, but I think that's the thing you would want to go and see at a time like this.
Yeah.
Like the comedy club or, you just kind of escape from things a bit more. And just see driving home, like part of it is missing stand-up. Like I nearly went on way too long at that gig, and I had that thought where it was like, no one's going to mind if I do another 10, 15, 20. And then I was like, no, do you know what? It's been so enjoyable. Like I I don't want to fuck it up. So I just drove home with a big smile on my face. And it's the first time for ages I've had like almost like not being able to sleep adrenaline after. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
I
get
saw
that.
you were like proper on form, like.
I just felt, and it was the excitement. It was having been away from it for so long, and whenever you do that gig and you get that first laugh, you just like your heart balloons up, not in a bad way, like, but you just kind of, I don't know, there's just something about it where I was like, I did not realize how much I missed this.
I had a very interesting thing happen just before that gig, whereby I went up kind of last minute with my friend Dom, and we go up in the car, and he's staying over for the night, so he parks his car up, and we get a taxi.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go to taxi on the way there. Well, first of all, before I tell that, right, one of the best experiences of customer service I've ever had was with a Belfast taxi driver, whereby I got the bus to the Europa Bus Centre. I come out, and as soon as you walk out, there's like 3 or 4 taxis lined up, right?
Aggressively getting, yes.
Yeah. Like, so I walk up, and the guy's like, "Come on, you meet me." I hop in the back seat, and I was meeting my friends at Woodworkers, so I get in, and he goes, "Where are you for, boss?" And I was like, "Woodworkers, please." And he goes, "Where the fuck's that?" And I was like, "Where else would this happen?" And then I was like, "Oh, it's beside Lavries, like it's literally the building beside Lavries." And then he goes, "Why the fuck didn't you just say Lavries then?" And I was like, "All right, mate, can you just fucking take me there?" You know what I mean?
I mean, I like that he was perplexed that you didn't know he didn't know where Woodworkers was.
Yeah.
That's,
like most taxi drivers,
most,
I'm not being like stereotypical clear, but most would, if they didn't know where you were looking to go, they'd maybe grab the phone, do a sneaky Google map, maybe look at like they knew all along.
ask one of
This
the
guy
lads.
just straight away was like,
I love that.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
So hold on, you went from Oma to Belfast by bus, and then you got a taxi to Woodworkers, and then you went to the gig? Or have I
No.
got
So that was a separate thing, right?
Right.
But before that, so before the gig, me and Dom get a taxi, right, to Vittorio's gig. And on the way there, I asked the taxi man, I'm like, "Sorry, on the way, mate, could you stop at an off license? We're going to like a bring your own booze type of thing." And he's like, "Oh, I don't know now. There's a couple of roads here closed. I don't know where the handy is going to be." And I'm just like, if it's not, not crazy out of the way, like if there's something handy en route. And he goes, "I do actually know a spot. Yeah, I do." And I was like, "Okay. Is it like a Russell's or what?" And he goes, "I can't even mind the name of it, to be honest." And then he drives us down, right, and stops beside this building and goes to me and my friend Dom. "Right, lads, that's you there on the right." And we get out. Now, this place, I'll not say the name of the place, but it's literally a taxi office. And then we walked in, and there's like a wee hatch.
Yeah.
Swear to God, because there's 2 vending machines. It's a taxi office. And I was like, "It can't be that. It must be like around the corner." We walk past it. The guy's dooting the horn, being like, "What's it there?" Right? So we're like, "What the fuck is it?" So we walk in, we hatch. I walk up, like, kind of like look around a bit. Then the guy opens the hatch. And I'm like, like you feel like you're in a social experiment.
Yeah.
Where you're like, some like YouTuber's going to pop out and say something. And I was like, "Do you sell alcohol, mate?" Like, sorry to be really random here. And he's like, "Aye, what are you after?" And I was like,
He's like, "Don't be stupid. It's a fucking taxi office."
it's like, but like whenever someone says, "What are you after for alcohol?" you just wouldn't know how to react. So I was like,
Yeah.
I'll take, do you have Stella? I'll take
Yeah, you're
Stella.
trying to be as general as possible.
Yeah. And he goes, "I can't do that, mate, but what I can do is 10 cours, £7. And I was like, "Here, I'll take it."
That's not a bad offer at all, because when you're in that situation, you kind of feel like there's a little bit of pressure on, and you'll take what you're given. So if he had been like, "I'll do you 10 cours here for 58 quid," you go, "Yeah, that's reasonable. That's reasonable."
The guy scurries. That's how the only way I can describe how he went. He scurried to the back where it looked like there was a kitchen. I don't know, but like tiles of some description and a counter. So I assume kitchen type area. Brings me 10 balls of courage, and like, you know the way like your mum would have a cupboard where she has it stuffed full of plastic bags.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
For like your PE kit or something, and he gives me one of them bags, right? And it was the warmest beer I've ever had in my life, but it was absolutely amazing. It was a real genuine experience.
Do you think his mate texted ahead and went, stick those coors on the boiler? Like the guy doesn't know. The guy doesn't know beers are supposed to be chilled.
Have you ever heard of this?
Not the fact that you can actually walk into a taxi depot and buy alcohol, but I definitely have heard taxi drivers can bring you booze.
Yeah.
Although that always felt like a playground myth to me. I never actually heard of anyone doing that.
Yeah, no, I've experienced it, and it was...
I mean, did you appreciate, even the beers were warm, did you appreciate them more because you were like, it's a cool way I got these?
Well, see, because of the fact that everything is so strange now. It did feel like it felt like I was in the Prohibition era, where it was illegal to sell alcohol.
Yeah,
yeah. So I grabbed these 10 warm beers, head to a garden gig, and I was like, what the fuck is this year like?
Everything's just a new way of doing things, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
Even when you said about woodworkers, in my head, I'm like, what would that be like?
Yeah.
No, I'm like an old, like a sort of like Gandalf type guy who's never really experienced like modern world.
Mm-hmm.
What does it like? I have no idea.
Is that how Gandalf talks?
Yeah, when he's doing a Chinese accent, it is. But I just have no idea even the idea like table service, and I have no idea what it's like. And you will, this will tug at your heartstrings. Back on the radio last Friday, what would I look forward to most about that, do you think, if I'm going into Belfast to Dublin Road?
Nando's.
So also remind me to tell you a great Nando's story you absolutely love. So I was like, happy days. We'll meet an hour before the radio. Me, Dave Elliott, and Dan Quick, the producer, who I need to ask you about because he's from Oma, and I just want to play a Do You Know Him because he's from Oma game.
Okay.
And I was like, boys, we'll meet early. Nando's, it's on me. I'm going to take the boys out. It's going to be a nice time. By the way, I forgot my debit card. Dan had to pay for it. But I like walked up to the door, and it was like, that Hall & Oates song? What I want, you got that.
Oh, yeah.
I was like dandering up, like the Chicken King is back. The cheekiest boy in Nando's is back. And I put my hand on the door and it just didn't open. Hey, they're only doing like collection.
Oh, no.
And I got to collect, like, I represent that store very hard, and I have a deep-seated love for my heart is in that shop. So I was like, I've got to get takeout. It's not going to be the same. I got a can of Coke Zero when I ordered through the app. Didn't put it in.
Is that your biggest hit of lockdown, would you say?
The worst thing that's happened to me?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I think it's the worst thing of lockdown for anyone. Because as we know, coronavirus is not real. So this is something that really happened.
Yeah, I actually ordered a face mask off Amazon. Just says hoax on it.
Yeah, but you still wear it. I love the idea that somebody would do that, but still wear it.
What I will say is Robbie McShane came down to Oma. Another comedian, Robbie McShane from Limit Valley. Very funny. Came down to Oma. Funny.
Oh, right, okay.
And he goes... fuck, this place is buzzing. Now, to be fair, that day, Oma, very packed, very busy,
Love that.
And I said as a joke, I was like, oh, well, the place is full of pandemic deniers, right? The first guy we walk into, lovely guy, right? Knew him from school. Sound guy. I need to make that clear at the start, right? Really nice guy.
Yeah.
Great guy. Really friendly. Family oriented. Good guy, right? But he said, obviously coronavirus came up in conversation quite naturally.
Sure.
And he said, he goes, it's fucking crazy how fabricated the whole thing is. And I was like, is he about to spit like a real truth bomb here on what's really going on? And he goes, there's people, right? This is how stupid it is. And I was like, right, okay, this guy's coming with facts, right?
Mm-hmm.
He goes, there's people that have had cancer 27 years. And then they get coronavirus and they die. And then they're marked as a coronavirus death. And I was like, first of all, they still died of coronavirus, right? But second of all, have you ever heard of someone having cancer for 27 years? You go to the doctors and you're like, Doc, how long have I got? And he's like, 2.5 decades. It's pretty rough.
Doctor's like, you might want to get your affairs in order in the year 2047.
You've got a full Jimi Hendrix left. That's it.
By the way, I'm sorry to say, you've got a quarter century. Things are going to start to move pretty fast because the next time there's a solar eclipse, you're right. You're right.
You have exactly 27 Guinness Book of Records left in the shops before it's time to go.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I don't like, conspiracy theorists being like, you got to question everything. I totally see the merit in that. I don't have time to do it, but I see the merit in it. But what I don't like is, and we were talking about Mick being a conspiracy theorist, and he definitely is into him and Connor's podcast. But what I like about them is they just like debate it, and they're like, "This is my take. This is what I think," and it's sort of like fucked either way. But the thing I can't stand online is people who are like almost smug about it.
Yeah.
People with like loads of laughing emojis be like saying, all you sheep need to wake up. And there's a guy who DJs on a big commercial radio station here. You probably won't figure out what station I'm talking about, but it wouldn't be called FM now. And he every day he's like putting up all these laughing emojis things, and he's like, I called this back in March. And it's like, yes, you and 19 million other people with your fucking tinfoil hats. I commented under one of his things. Why do I do that? I commented under his thing. He put something up about non-COVID, like you say, non-COVID related deaths or whatever. They've lied to us about this. And I was like, I just wrote, why do you write about this? Like saying when you called it, like you're predicting the end of Game of Thrones. Either way, people died.
Yeah.
Like either way, chances are someone like their relative or whatever died of coronavirus. No,
well, it's like a grasp at intelligence.
Yeah, it's something to do for quite a lot of people, I think, and then you say, and I don't know enough about it, right? But a lot of what I'm seeing is very like in a roundabout way pro-Trump. I don't know how Trump is doing it, but I just know a lot of guys I know started off being like, oh, fuck pedos. And I was like, yep, I agree. And then their next thing would be like, Trump he hates pedos and I don't even like him. That's what they all started saying. I don't even like Trump, right? But I'm just going to say this. And now they're just straight up getting fucking Trump 2020 scored into their heads with compasses.
I don't like Trump, but I will defend him online for 6 hours at a time.
Yeah, I mean...
Which I also love too about a DJ from over here, like being like, writing like, you fucking sheep, wake up. And then 20 minutes later, being like, okay, guys, so we got the killers here coming in. Mr. Brightside, strap in your seatbelts. Sorry, what? That personality, it doesn't go together with that job. You can't be a Northern Irish DJ and then also be heavily red-pilled and on right-wing forums.
We need to look into Pizzagate. They need to investigate Pizzagate. Speaking of pizzas, who's having a pizza party? These guys are. It's LMFAO Party Rock Anthem.
Very convenient that they're looking for Madeline McCann again in the middle of a pandemic. Hey, wake up, people. Anyhow, here's Ellie Goulding.
Strange that Barack Obama's been very quiet during all this. He's killed himself. This is Ricky Martin, and he's living La Vida Loca.
Speaking of people that are on Skyscanner for Epstein's Island, it's Pharrell Williams featuring Robert Thicke. Oh my God.
Woo!
Woo!
Whoa. Ellen shot JFK, this one.
The earth is flat. And speaking of which, we're flat to the mat with a party hat. It's Richie Remo.
Do you know the funny thing about all the conspiracy theories? They're probably all right.
Here's the thing. I literally, right, if it doesn't immediately affect my day there and then and what I'm doing, it sounds terrible, but I don't care.
You're right. We get desensitized to so much.
Yeah.
You're right. It was like Brexit. I said the only thing I need to know about Brexit is, will my bins go out on a different day? That's the number one priority I have, is when my bins go out, because I've been in that situation before where I put my bin out on the wrong day, and that fucking walk of shame back through your whole
yeah,
with a full bin. Because if you have a full bin, you can't make it seem like it's an empty bin you're on your way back with, because you got to drag it a little bit more. And yeah, that's all I needed to know. Brexit, they're like, oh, fucking recession, economy, and like, yeah, that's terrible, but like, do we still get paid for gigs?
yeah, exactly.
It's yeah, it's like that thing of, and it is probably ignorance in a way, but I think it's just the way we're conditioned now, where, you know, you'll read about some tragedy that happens somewhere in the world, like some complete catastrophe, but you can scroll through that in a newsfeed and then read another article about some celebrity thing. It's not like you don't care. It's just that that's just the way it is now, almost. Like, yeah,
Sorry, continue.
No, I didn't have a point after that.
It was like it used to be you would like see something like a headline that was a really terrible thing, like, you know, anything, someone murdered here or there, and you'd be like, oh shit, that's awful, and then you would have like the day at least to like let it ferment a wee bit. Well, there is now, if you do one swift scroll of Twitter, it's just tragedy, like, you know.
Tragedy. Mickey, this show's still happening, guys. And I'm aware I fucked that up by calling him Mickey, but these things happen. I think I'm still good.
Mickey's new show in the Ulster Hall, Mickety Tickety Talk.
Mickety Boo. Everything's Mickety Boo. It's not me, coronavirus. But then, you know, the way people are like, oh, the government are saying to everyone like they're muzzling us by putting these face masks on us.
Mm.
What are they getting out of it? It's like the whole flat earth thing. People are like, the government know. One thing we know about anything is nobody can keep a secret in the world.
Yeah.
Like, and the bigger the secret, the more it's going to come out at some stage.
Yeah.
So do you think there's people with the knowledge and proof that there is a flat earth, and they're not saying to anyone, like, you would know? And also, what's the benefit of there being a flat earth? What's the benefit of like lying to people about it?
I would like to think that if anybody knew information like that, there would be one night at an after party at 3:00 in the morning. The night's kind of died down, and they're smoking a fag outside, and they just turn to their mate and go, "I have to tell someone this."
Mate, I don't want to melt your head here, right? But listen, I know your taxi's coming in 2 minutes, but listen to this here. You can tell I don't know how to smoke. Hold it. The people used to do that in my school, hold the cigarette the wrong way around and like do something with it, and then they breathed it out, and then other people smoked it. I don't know, it's weird.
Do you want to hear something you'll be very disappointed in me in?
Yeah.
I smoked my first cigarette 2 weeks ago.
Why?
Now here's the thing. Wasn't into it. I have a feeling it's like coffee, where it's a barrier you have to overcome, and then you're fully addicted.
Well, I have a medical degree and you just coughed there, so I'm sorry to tell you, you only have 57 years left to live because of that, my friend. Time is ticking, and if I were you, I would get everything out of the way that you needed to do. I would tick things off that bucket list every decade because... Right, so you smoked a cigarette basically start to finish.
Yes.
I'm not disappointed. I think now that I'm a dad guy, you know.
By the way, it's disgusting. It took me until now to say congratulations on this podcast. I have wished you congratulations, obviously, personally.
Well, it doesn't count until it's on this podcast.
That's true. Congratulations,
well,
mate.
I appreciate that, but you definitely run out of like patience for a lot of things. Like, if you had told me that before, I would have been like, mate, and I would have tried to talk you out of ever smoking a cigarette again. And now I'm like, why would I do that? Because, like you say, you're not into it, and it's just going to be a waste of both of our times. But at the same time, you're a very naughty, rude boy, and don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. So I smoked. I remember, right? I've never smoked a whole cigarette in my life. I've probably smoked the equivalent of a cigarette, if you know what I mean, through like various draws. And when I say stuff like that, I sound like an undercover policeman.
Draws?
Yeah, various draws. LDs, people used to say it in your school. LDs.
What's that?
Last draws. LDs. People used to walk about. Genuine, that was the thing people used to walk about. LDs.
That's hilarious.
Sometimes people have local things that don't make sense. Like, I think I've talked about this on the podcast before. I worked on a mace in East Belfast, and people used to come in and go, all right, mate, dings. What? Ding card? I was like, I don't know what a ding card is. Sounds like, you know, like a phone card or something. People come in like, mate, ding card, put a $5 on the ding card.
Dinner card?
Is that? No, I'm looking for 50 dings on the card. A ding is a bus pass.
Okay.
Ding. That's a ding. Stick 50 dings on that. Very weird.
We say ding for money, like in my group of friends.
Oh, like 10 dings?
We would say like, 20 ding, whatever, yeah.
Oh, just ding, no S on the end of it?
No dings.
Oh, I would look like such a dick in front of your friends if I was like, here, 50 dings? Oh, fuck. Thank God you told me that. Nope, I like Nope. 20
Nope's nice. Yeah, I like Nope.
Nope's good. Nope dreams. I like it. Nope's good. Yeah, man.
You say Nope dreams?
Yeah, Noop Dreams. I don't know, it just came into my head. Like Hoop Dreams. Hoop Dreams is this basketball documentary that me and my mate Stevie and John were looking something to watch one day, just like sitting in the house, maybe one like Friday night or something. Someone's like, stick something on. I put on this basketball documentary. I was like, this might be good. The most tragic, bleak thing you'll ever see. Just some kid trying to get out of the projects. I think a few of them get out, and this one lad is fucking still there. And it was grim. Just made us really sad. Sorry,
well,
no, a lot of time you'd be like, no, you got to fill a podcast constantly with chat. I think if you get sad at some point, you just ride out that.
Well, The Last Dance is a more upbeat one, I would say. If we're talking basketball documentary specifically,
I thought The Last Dance was good, and I bought a retro Chicago Bulls top with Rodman on the back, and then which is fine. It's a little bit bandwagony, which is again something probably before child I would have been like, oh man, people jumping on the bandwagon. I'm just all about the bandwagon now. Just go for the bandwagon.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with a bandwagon.
What's your biggest change? Now, obviously, it's very soon to say, but what's your biggest change since you became a father that you've noticed in yourself?
I put my hands on my hips a lot.
Okay.
Which is a bit of a dad move, and like time management now. I just don't have time to do things. And before I would have tried to please all of the people all the time, and now I just go, nah. My hands on my hips, I'm like, nah, can't do it.
Yeah,
can't do it. Honestly, I was supposed to have a phone call with somebody last week. I just couldn't ever phone them back. Really, just didn't have time. So yeah, I'm still figuring it out. I mean, the big change is like I think being like probably less vain. So like I'll get like sick and piss and stuff on my. I mean, that's just my own on my t-shirts, or like my son will shit on me and. You just give it like a bit of a damp wipe, but I don't care. I just kind of go about now with a bit like you become more functional as opposed to like fancy.
Okay.
Like don't get me wrong, like I can still turn it on, but it's very, very rare. Like, like if I was going to the shop, I would. Who is that?
Apparently a magical dwarf. What
Did you
fuck was that?
Did you just complete a level of Zelda?
I also love how you immediately went, "Who the fuck is that?" Like a scene out of a horror film. Yeah, I do notice the patience being cut with you. I like that.
Do you know what that reminds me of? Does that remind you of anything with me and you?
I
Just
don't
being
think.
going like that. When we went to see Drake, right? Which at the time's fine, but now Drake's kind of way more like a young girl thing. I think the fact we went too far to see him, I think it'd be acceptable if we saw him in Belfast, but we travelled too far to see him. We went to see Drake in Dublin, you and Dolly and me.
Yeah.
And I was walking on ahead and you tripped and fell into me as we were walking to the venue. And I felt this like force and I like went forward and nearly fell. And you two burst out laughing because I think you were laughing because you'd fallen and you pushed me by mistake. And I just heard you laughing behind me. And I was like, I'd never met Dolly before. I hadn't seen you just on your own with him. And I was like, maybe this is a thing they do where they just fucking shove people. And I was like, it was one of those ones where like, listen, if I had my hands in my pockets, I'd have broke my neck. So no one, so I turned around. I got really angry and I went, what the fuck are you doing? And you both looked like your dad had just lost it after work one day, and then it took me so long to process what had happened, and you were like, I tripped, and like momentum carried me into you, and then I was like, to be fair, that's way more realistic than the fact that a good friend of mine in many years, walking over a bridge in Dublin, would just fucking shove me to the ground. But sometimes I think about that and I laugh a lot. Because even if you had to push me, why would I have been that annoyed about it?
Yeah, that level of paranoia in your default settings mean you should never be a weed guy.
Oh no. What about the time where I spoke to someone we know about, like, I think we're going to do a gig, and I was like, and I knew this person would have some, and I was like, and it's not the person you think it is. I was like, here, I might be interested in that. And the person was like, great. The person then was like, I'm not going to the thing, but I could probably get you some. And I was like, never really done it. And then he was like, listen, this guy's going to give you it. And at that point I was out of my depth and I was like, this is why I don't do this and why I'm not going to do it. And I sent the guy a message on Facebook and said, he goes, the guy has Wonka bars, like Willy Wonka edible bars. And I messaged our mutual friend and I said, I'm lactose intolerant, ask him if there's dairy in it. And he wrote back and he said, never do this. He's like, you don't ever need to be in this game, you know?
Oh my God, that's
he's
hilarious.
Like, the direct quote from the person was, if I ask my drug dealer that, he's going to think I'm an informant. So that's why I'm not in that.
But that's like a beyond narc thing to say. You would trust someone who said to you is this lactose intolerant.
100%. And even if he had said no, it would have been like, what's the gluten situation?
Yeah. That's so funny.
But I like the idea of like an artisanal kind of clean eating dealer. You know, a guy who's like, listen, no dairy, no gluten, no soya, just 100% natural ingredients.
It's bound to be a thing.
Yeah.
I'd say there isn't a market for it here, but I'd say it's probably a thing.
Oh no, not here. No,
not here.
No, but yeah, LA, yeah, for sure. I there's so much I was going to chat to you about, but we just never got around to it, and that's what I like about this podcast and what I like about chatting. Your podcast, Dirt Civil, you and Tim. Tim, let me ask you this.
Yes.
Tim is a PT as well as hosting the podcast with yourself. Tim, at the minute, is doing training with Colin. I am doing training with a PT that Tim knows.
Okay.
And I just like that.
Like that. And I think I know the PT as well that you're on about.
Matthew?
Yes.
Have you met him?
Or I know of him because Tim has mentioned that he was training you.
Yeah. It's fun. I like it. It's good having like the kind of accountability of it or something. But I just like the idea that every local comedian gets like you can't share it has to be a different personal trainer, and then like whenever we come back to the scene, it's just like the Dream Boys.
Yeah,
it's like the Chippendales just coming out, just a bow tie on, nothing else. Dirt Civil what day of the week do you guys do the podcast?
We put it out every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday. By the way, the new artwork is sensational.
Oh, thank you very much. That is Emily McClemott's local girl, very talented.
Very nice. Very nice. So check that out. You're doing Vittorio's gig. You got anything like before the end of the year? I don't think
so. When's your shows next year?
February.
Okay.
I'm going to tour February and September next year with different shows. Well, that's a plan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because this shows I would be doing now, so it's ready. It was ready before lockdown because that's the natural time it was going to have to be ready. So
will it feel weird to you doing that show in February, do you think? Because my show is about my ex-girlfriend, and now it's like 3 years later.
Well, the good thing is it's not topical, so yeah. I think it'll be fine, but what I need to do now is park the material for a while because I don't want to make myself sick of it before. I don't want to be doing it that'll be me doing it for like a year because I'm doing it before lockdown to try it. So I think park it and almost like either practice the next stuff or just come up with some fun new stuff that I can throw away after a while. Yeah,
that's sensible. I feel like mine's going to be, it'll be a tougher sell. You know, because it's essentially a show. It's like a breakup show, and then kind of come on and you do some self-deprecating material about that, and people are like, "Mate, I've lost my job, and people have died." Like, I don't.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck about a breakup? She ain't got to take away Nando's. Like, there's bigger fish to fry.
Lest we forget. You're Ulster Hall in June.
June next year. Yeah.
That'll be class. I mean. It must be annoying that got put back because the best thing would imagine who was it just got in just before this? Maybe it was Colin. Colin got in at a brilliant time of
January,
doing his plan shows, and then it's like okay, they're out of the way, planning the next ones. Whereas you and I were just about to go.
Yeah.
So to have it put back, it's sort of I definitely feel your pain on that. So frustrating, but. It'll be good. Are you going to get that filmed?
I think so, yeah. I think so. It'll be... It's definitely my biggest solo show yet, which is crazy to think. I actually wasn't going to do it. And then I think a couple of people, you included, I'm pretty sure, were like, no, you could do it.
Oh, every bigger venue I've done, there has always been a change of heart. I've always been like, no, not that one.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, this is the one to stick at. Mandela Hall, it was like, I should just always do this size. And then Ulster Hall, it was like, it continues to be like, I think there's not much arrogance on the local comedy scene. So no one's like, oh, I should be here. It's kind of like you do. Yeah, we all have to talk ourselves into it. Give me an exclusive, right? Because that's what I'm all about, the exclusives. You know the answer to this question. What are you going to walk out to? You know what you're going to walk out to.
Igor's Fame by Tyler, the Creator. Big build up.
So I think you put a lot of thought into that.
I do. Want. I actually weirdly put quite a bit of thought into the walk-on music of a stand-up show. Probably more than you would need to.
But I think you should because it sets a tone.
I think it does too.
It definitely sets a tone.
I usually walk out to very heavy, bassy music, and some people go, "You shouldn't do that because then, it feels weird to just grab them." Yeah, but you can match that energy.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, it's all about how you start your set.
Yeah,
pretty much. I think my favorite walkout music, I'll probably use it again, is Rolling Stones' "Start Me Up."
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's a fun song, and it is it's got the guitar and I love the Rolling Stones. I like that.
Am I right in saying you walked out to Trophies by Drake one time?
I don't think I would have had the balls for that. I don't think. Maybe at a gig we did for fun where someone's like, "What song do you want to walk?" Oh, I know what it was. Limelight, one of the charity shows.
Yes, that's what it was. That's what it was.
Yeah, because that doesn't match me. Hey, hit records on my demo, and then it cuts. Hello. Macklemore was one I liked as well. The first time I did Ulster Hall, it was Macklemore. What was the song? Fuck, I can't remember. Not one of like the big hits, but like a song of his I really liked.
Oh, an album cut from Macklemore.
A deep cut.
Okay.
Deep cut from Macklemore. A demo. It wasn't a demo. It was just one off the album that I liked. But yeah, that'll be so much fun, and you will enjoy it more because it's been postponed. Because it's like, yes, I finally get to do this.
I hope so, because right now I'm like, it doesn't even feel like I'm doing it anymore. It just like feels very, I don't know.
But that's because whenever we're gigging on the scene, and whenever you're doing clubs and stuff, you're like, okay, I'm doing all this to build up to the big show that I'm doing, or some sort of event. You don't have that at the minute, but once we start getting into more regular gigs, you'll be like, yes, this momentum takes me into that show.
Yeah.
But it'll be great. I just can't wait to do stand-up again. And
same.
Just to see all the boys again.
Yeah.
Man, enjoy the Poonjana.
And I'll take the tea as well. Thanks, mate.
What we should do is figure out a way next time we're gigging together. If one of us is MCing, get that line in just in between us. Like set it up every time and then just fucking strike it out.
Absolutely.
Great to talk to you, my man.
You too, mate.
I will see you soon. I love seeing your face. You'll be impressed. I know that T-shirt you're wearing is a little group called Run the Jewels.
Oh, okay.
Run the Jewels fast. Don't mind if I do. Yeah, so I'm going to change my email address and I'll chat to you soon.
Nice, mate. Chat
soon. Cheers.
Thank you.
Sippers, there we have it. My chat with fellow stand-up comedian and friend of mine, Aaron McCann. Hope you enjoyed that. Check Aaron out, all social media. He has a podcast called Dirt Civil, which you may or may not have mentioned on the podcast, but I recorded this bit after the podcast was over. So there you go. I also said great guy. You might have said something in the podcast that really mugged me off. I'm not sure. But let's just enjoy it for what it was. I've got listeners' questions, and it'd be really sly of me not to answer them. Now, earlier in the week, we were back in studio, but that episode's not going to be out for a little while. And let me see what the sippers are saying. By the way, it's so much better being back in studio than me recording it via Zoom on a laptop that when all the windows are closed, because it looks like I'm doing a hostage video. There you go. Casper says, as a comedian, can you deduct marijuana as a business expense? I mean, mad question. I don't think you actually think I can. And for that reason, I don't know what the purpose of the question is, but I would sincerely doubt it. Just poppers, I think. Yeah, I would write off about 10 grand a year in tax just for poppers. Ozum Gali says, don't know if that's a real one, says, what would you do to improve the rubbish that is building up in Sea Park, Hollywood? Again, bizarre question to ask me. And I think, get ready for this, but I think the answer might be more bins, something like that. Or if it's people from Belfast coming to Hollywood for the day and they are littering, McGabry. Yeah, just like a life sentence. Even if they're not littering, I don't think anyone should be allowed down at Sea Park Listen from the North Down area. We should be checking people's address. Because the people from Belfast come down and they scare the people from Hollywood. Because they play music on their phones and they drink wickeds and we don't like it. So what would I do? Yeah, just give the police more power, really. That's what I would like to see. And then under that, then he just has a Twitter back and forth argument with somebody else. And I don't know why I'm being dragged into that, but that's just a thing. We got forwarded an email during the week, me and Britney Spears' dad, to the official Tea With Me, which is teawithmepodcast@gmail.com. If you ever want to email us about anything, you certainly can do. And producer Dan has sent me it, and I'll be honest, I should have it better to hand, but I just don't. And producer Dan, the sad thing is, will probably slap me for that. He'll probably slap me around the face because that's what he does. No, we do have more questions. They come from the likes of Matthew Mernon, who says, are the evenings gone yet? I don't know. I haven't been outside in about a month. I reckon they're gone, but Like, I think whenever I'm allowed to go back outside again, and whenever you're allowed to, like, have playtime, which I'm not at the minute, because you got to just, be responsible for your child and stuff. I mean, my wife really just are inside 24/7. I think when it gets to about December, when we are like, you know what, we can head out for an hour here. I think, get them minded. I think I will treat December like it's still the summer, so I'll still be going out Hawaiian shorts, putting tan lotion on, and just sort of lying out the back. So I hope the evenings are staying, but either way, it makes no difference to me. Patrick Quinn, aka Belfast Guy in China, says, how happy are you with your most recent gigs? How often do you get a great reaction and then just decide to run with that rather than moving on to a plan in your head? All the time whenever I'm doing stand-up. If you say something that comes into your head, or a bit gets a particular laugh or not a laugh, then I kind of improvise like a lot of comedians would do, and maybe like do a new bit instead, or I don't know. It's hard to describe. Yeah, definitely run with what's happening rather than a plan, because you can have a plan set out in your head and then it just kind of goes to shit for good or bad. Happy with most recent gig. The gig I did in the back garden of a local stand-up was absolutely incredible. I did that last week. It was the what's it called? By the way, I'm sorry, but there's more questions, but I can't find them on my fucking phone. Yeah, I did a gig in the socially distanced comedy club at the top of the Ormer Road, which was ran by a stand-up, and for some reason I'll not give his name out in case, I don't know, he goes to McGabry or something for it, even though it's really well socially distanced. I was beyond happy with my set because I had no idea how it was going to go. It was new material. I've been rusty for 4 months, and I think it was fun. I got it videoed for a youth charity who asked me to do something, and I don't think any of it's usable for a youth charity. So, no, I really enjoyed that. Oh, I know what it was. I know. It was from Noah Ballard. And he sent me something during the week. And I don't know if I have it. And that's not great podcast content. Me doing that? No, I've got it. Noah Ballard visited a traditional Chinese tea garden last week with @Philip Nesbitt. And by the way, he's legally changed his name to that. AKA the other Belfast Guy in China. He says keep sipping, and Noah is there preparing some very traditional tea, and I like that you're called Noah because that's my son's name, and that's going to make me cry. No, it's not, but I like that you're called Noah, and I like that you have tea, and I like that you're with that Philip Nesbitt. But what the Zippers really like is there's two Belfast Guys in China, and what I'd really like them to do is meet up and have a cup of tea together. Because one thing I know about geography is China is not that big. It's about like Northern Ireland. You probably get to each other in easily half an hour. So just meet up, go to a Starbucks. There's probably a Starbucks in China, I would say, and just have a good time. I think the Sippers would really like that, and maybe we make a documentary out of it and it goes on the Patreon. I'm not too sure. I'll need to speak to Britney Spears' dad about that. Sippers, hope you enjoyed my chat with Aaron McCann. I'll see you on Wednesday and Friday, back in the studio, I hope. Keep sipping. Visit the Patreon, patreon.com/teawithmepodcast for the bonus Monday episode. Goodbye.